In terms of the skills shortage, I think there's a lot of discussion around people who train to be engineers, who take the time to go to get a degree in engineering, not becoming engineers at the end of it. And I can say from the statistics, because we obviously phone everybody to find out what they're doing 6 months after they've left, 75% of people who take an engineering degree do end up in engineering, which is a really positive thing to say. It is fair to say that engineers are an incredibly well-liked pool of resource, hence why they do get drawn into things like finance and other areas because of their logical problem solving. Those kind of approaches are things that everybody wants in a good employee. And so they are a well-liked resource of talent, if you like, when they get to that level. At Nottingham University particularly, and bear in mind Nottingham has a global reputation. We actually have physically our own campuses in China and Malaysia, which obviously changes quite a bit. But at Nottingham we have, in our engineering school, which is around 3,500 students, 50% of those students are non-EU, non-UK, so they've come from overseas. And in a sense that's about the fact that in those countries the status of an engineer is a highly respected profession. It's something you really do have to study to get into. They need the master's level education to become an engineer or call themselves an engineer. So we have a lot of students from that side of things from different parts of the world. The students that come to study at Nottingham, as we discussed earlier, need really high A-levels in physics and maths. So the university has a very high kind of criteria educationally for joining a degree, and I suppose those are the areas where the education, doing more at that level, knowing you have to work that hard to get into a degree, giving students that level of knowledge at school so that they can make the right choices. That's something that still needs to be worked on. I think what's being done at school level, every university is trying to do outreach to talk to students about STEM activities in a broader sense. We have ambassadors that go out who are our students, who go and work in classrooms to show students who are 13, 14, making decisions about what it's like, to give those options. Is that replicated across the whole of the national picture? Not so sure. I think there are probably some schools that are targeted, some schools that aren't, and I think it's very difficult for teachers to be aware of the range of opportunities that there are. So it's in a hard-pressed teacher's life, there's not a lot of time to take on even if you're just taking on the fact that there's a huge range of things you can do as an engineer. Think about that replicated for hospitality and the law and accountancy. There's so much that they would need to know in order to give advice. What a university can do is it can go out there and talk to students at the right sort of age and say, look, being an engineer is a really positive thing to do. And currently there is a skill shortage. There's a need for people to go into those jobs, and going into a degree in engineering is a way of getting into those jobs. There's potential perhaps to broaden the reach of what an individual university can do. Maybe there's something about bringing people together to enable universities to go out and do that as in a more cohesive way. And again, it's perhaps something that's national and not just reliant on local expertise or local drivers to do those things, because that's how it feels at the moment. I think there was a mention of around Scottish funding that was enabling things to happen in Scotland around the Skills Council talking about those kind of things, and that sounds like a really good idea. If that could be replicated for England and Wales, fantastic. If it was put together in the right sort of way, then I'm sure there'd be interest from universities in terms of being part of that, to go out and sort of bring people into the professions.